This is hard. I don't know how to start. Nintendo. That's terrible. The Switch is winding down. We are nearing the time of the Switch 2, the Switch successor, the next Nintendo, the NXX. It's sort of this calm before the storm. We recently got a Nintendo Direct, and it really got me thinking about how it might be one of the last Directs that like come in this form. So I thought I'd have myself a little movie night. I wanted to watch all of the mainline Nintendo Directs back to back, take some notes, really kind of take in what makes each one special on an individual basis. I'm not going scripted this time. I'm literally just talking. We're gonna see the results that brings. But I have documentation. I took notes on everything that was even remotely notable. And I'm someone who enjoys Nintendo Directs a lot. Even announcements that don't mean a lot to most people, I can usually look at and go like, hey, it's pretty cool. This is gonna be a very positive oriented Nintendo Direct retrospective. But I am gonna try and address controversy when it comes up. Sometimes Directs don't land with a huge chunk of people. And even if they land for me, I still think it's important to recognize when that sort of thing happens. I think I genuinely landed at an even 20 Directs, which is really cool. And this is just what I'm calling mainline Directs. So that means no partner showcases, no Pokemon Presents, no Smash Brothers or Mr. Sakurai Presents, no Nindies, no Nintendo Direct Minis, with one exception that I will go into when we get there. So if there's a trailer or game you're thinking of that doesn't make an appearance in this video, assume it either got announced on one of those or they pulled an Origami King and just like randomly posted the trailer on Twitter or something. I am gonna try to rank them. I don't know how well that's gonna go. Both trying to put myself back to where I was when it aired, but also like with hindsight and today looking back on it and seeing how fun it is as a rewatch, but also just as a historical Nintendo moment. Quantity is really going to be important for that too. If it's a presentation that was relatively mid but had one amazing reveal at the very end, it's probably not going to be like at the top of the list, because I'm looking for stuff that just delivers and delivers. I think that's what makes the greatest Directs, right? It's not usually just like static line and then like hype at the end. It's like very like up and down, like big announcement, collection of smaller interesting announcements, huge announcement, surprises. I think surprises are some of the best things that Directs have to offer. I'm probably going to talk about literally everything, so I suspect that this is going to be a very long video. I hope you're okay with that. And I guess I'm just going to go now, and we're going to start here and talk about Directs. All right, so this is the hardware reveal presentation from January 13th, 2017. There was a small 7 or 8 minute video several months before this that was just sort of like, you know, you may have seen this one, the live action kids, like teens playing on the rooftop. This presentation was gonna get into the nit and gritty details of like, okay, now let's really break this thing down. What is this thing? What is the Switch? The show was live, which is the only presentation we're going to talk about today that was like that. They were really showing off like the new colors, the new branding, the snap. That was so much better than my first one. It is big light show, and they actually really quickly went into like the details everyone want to hear. When's it launching? March 3rd. Price $300. Like they didn't leave you hanging about that. They went into the free online trial period. I really wanted to see if they went into detail that like this is temporary and it will be paid later, and they did like very clearly address that. No region locking, that's another big win. They went over one new feature that like every past console brought to the table, and this is where they like bring up GameCube and they're like, it has a handle. Yeah, just wild looking at a time where the concept of the Switch had to be sold to us. We're watching this presentation of people going like, this is a Joy-Con. We look at that and are like, what do you think, we're idiots? But like, we really had to be told it that clearly, because the Wii U's marketing was so convoluted and so vague and so confusing that no one was sure what the product was. So having them go into this step-by-step breakdown of what the Switch was supposed to be, I do think was really important. They go into the IR camera and HD rumble. I don't know how I would tell like a friend what HD Rumble is. So the whole thing with the ice cubes, like that whole visual presentation that they did, is, you know, probably the best thing they could have done. It's a shame that almost no games took advantage of these features. We immediately cut then to our first, like, brand new game reveal, which was 1-2-Switch. I remember not like looking at these live action actors and going like, when are they going to cut to gameplay? And then it eventually dawning on me, like, wait, this is gameplay. Like, these actors, I'm watching gameplay right now. I really did think this was going to be a party staple. I still think that if this was a pack-in title, it would have had a lot more legs. Arms. That is really cool, like live action, two people in a dark room just fighting. It reminded me a lot of the Mii Fighters trailer. Gonna be honest, I think this is hype as hell. I really like arms, so I'm probably the exact demographic for a game this kooky. They really just showed like a big bang, just like thing after thing of interest. They showed us a quick battle. It was like really nice and snappy too. They didn't like keep us here for too long. Splatoon 2. A ton of new things were shown. They showed new weapons, they showed new outfits, they showed new specials. What was noteworthy is that none of these things were launch titles. I mean, 1-2-Switch was, but like they made know that ARMS was not going to be a launch title. Splatoon 2 was going to be a summer release. If you were keeping an ear out for what would be available at launch and it was none of these things, you might have been like, but any you had instantly disappeared because Odyssey got revealed next. And oh my god, so many of us were like, oh man, like we're like Mario, we're in the new Super Mario void right now. This was such a hype reveal, it being a 3D Mario open world that we thought at the time, which is not quite that, but it really looked it. The weird humans, which was immediately like, huh? And then like the brutals, like the fact that they're not Koopalings, like it really brought so much new to the table, and that was exactly what Mario needed at that time. We got a really wonderful Japanese trailer reveal to Xenoblade 2. We're gonna talk about Xenoblade a lot today. I don't know a ton about Xenoblade. I've played one. It's a huge, you know, Nintendo franchise, and if you're someone who's like, I hate RPGs, like, get used to it. Xenoblade's here, and it's huge, and it might end a few directs, and you might get disappointed. But as someone who's a bit on the outside of the franchise, and I do know its history about how much it had to fight to even like get here in America in the first place. So like, I'm always happy to see Xenoblade, even if it doesn't like, you know, make me go like, oh my gosh, or anything like that. We got an extremely minimal mention of Fire Emblem, like not going into any detail. It's just one of those like, a new game is coming, like kind of reveals this thing. Okay, this is a teaser for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Didn't this like just come out? How long did you guys have to wait? I'm so sorry. I don't know anything about Shin Megami Tensei, but like, I empathize. We got the reveal for Project Octopath Traveler. Crazy. You know, what an interesting working title. I can't imagine they're going to use that for the final. I remember how excited people were seeing the HD 2D for the very first time. That was really like the first big game that like like we called it Octopath style until they started adopting the HD 2D moniker. If you were into RPGs, this was a great like back-to-back showcase. Sega came on to talk about that they had games for Switch, but didn't really show anything. We got a Todd Howard jump scare. He gave us Skyrim. Suda51 came on to talk Travis Strikes Again. The translator was really stumbling, and I don't know the story behind that, but like, poor guy. We know EA, FIFA. I mean, we basically just got like a bunch of third parties coming in saying, hey, we're doing stuff for Switch, which is good. The Wii U didn't get any of that, so that's really important and good for them. And then we ended with Reggie and Miyamoto building hype for Breath of the Wild. We got like a pretty sick trailer and revealing that it would be a Switch launch title, which was definitely really exciting. I do think this was really good. I think given the stumbles of the Wii U era, this did a really good job at promising two things to people who were watching. Our new system's gonna be big. We're gonna have games for it. That's all any of us want. So even despite the age of this presentation, I think it ranks pretty high, honestly. April 12th, 2017. Switch is out at this point, but it's been out for like a month. We open with 3DS headlines. The first few directs we're going to talk about today all open on 3DS. Late game 3DS stuff, but 3DS stuff. We got a trailer for Hey Pikmin. This doesn't seem to be the reveal trailer. It's just another additional trailer. Ever Oasis, Monster Hunter Stories, Coldcept Revolt, Fire Emblem Echoes, I think got some additional content. Yokai Watch 2, and Miitopia, which is a lot of fun. There was a little snippet of a Kirby for a 25th anniversary celebration where they added Clash Deluxe and Blowout Blast. And then they announced, like, hey, we're working on a multiplayer party game for the 3DS. Stay tuned. I can't believe they were building hype for Kirby Battle Royale. Then we got Bye Bye Box Boy. Then they also went into Amiibo. We got a bunch of them. The Zelda series, nondescript Zelda Amiibo. We got those. Cloud, Corrin, and Bayonetta. Interesting that like they were ending the Smash 4 roster Amiibo just as the Switch was starting and the time for Ultimate was coming. They got their alternate skin Amiibo, which were cool. Sad Robin noises. But that was all that, and moving on to the Switch headlines, we immediately got punched in the face by ARMS. We got a very lengthy ARMS presentation here, hosted by Biff. They go into a lot of detail in the game and how exactly it works. They really talk about everything from like the ARMS to some of the other modes and the characters. They revealed Min Min here, which is funny looking at now, because they reveal Min Min like she's just any other fighter, but now Min Min is a lot more important because of her time in Smash. It's all cool in hindsight. I don't know how big ARMS was, though, at the time. They show another full fight, just like they did in the previous presentation, but it was so much longer this time. But yeah, when that was done, we got some Mario Kart 8. They mentioned a few of the differences between Kart 8 and Kart 8 Deluxe. A very small, like, you know, portion of the presentation given to that, given it would become the highest selling Switch game ever and still is. Ultra Street Fighter 2, which I guess is a remake of Street Fighter 2. That's cool. Minecraft. That's really important. You gotta get that on Switch. We got Neo Geo Masterpieces, individual Neo Geo releases of arcade classics. There was a brief Sonic Forces / Sonic Mania look. Project Mekaru show up later as Flip Wars. I didn't know about this until looking back at this presentation. This looks fun. I kind of want to try it. Disgaea 5 got some time in the spotlight. Puyo Puyo Tetris got some time, not as a reveal, but just to like talk to us Westerners about what Puyo Puyo is. Thanks, guys. And you know, Monopoly and yeah, Namco Museum, Payday 2. It's like a lot of stuff that you expect to see in like the GameStop clearance section, but at the same time, they're games that like you can't imagine not being on Switch. They showed a standalone Switch dock and really like went into detail about how it would be a limited release, which it really was. I don't see those anywhere. Why did they do this? And then they start talking about Splatoon. They go into an open tournament for Splatoon 1, which I think is the final Wii U announcement ever. But then we end on Splatoon 2 proper. We get this really fun VHS recruitment video, which I really like. All this to promote Salmon Run, which is like the brand new major game mode of Splatoon 2. And it's crazy thinking that Splatoon didn't have this because Salmon Run is such an important part about its DNA now. You guys remember when every Splatoon presentation was from the Squid Research Lab? I don't think this was a particularly spectacular direct. The 3DS titles were all really cool, but they all strike me as like late game, rare, like Nintendo 3DS like releases that you're excited about way later down the line when they're long out of print, rather than like when they are announced. Most of these games I would come to play, but like they would be way later in my adult life. And as with the Switch stuff, if you were looking for like single player content or new, like big new releases, you didn't get any of that. You just got a lot of ARMS and a lot of Splatoon. So if you're not into like the colorful multiplayer, you really didn't leave this with much. So it did its job, because all it needed to do was just like, because at the time there were like 5 Switch games out. So like all it needed to do was just get more Switch stuff out there. So it served its purpose, but as far as hype is concerned, I think this ranks a little low. E3 2017. If it's not fun, why bother? The big opener is Xenoblade 2, again, getting a second trailer. It's now an English trailer, so everyone's hearing their English voices for the very first time. Again, I wish I could go into more detail about the significance of each individual Xenoblade reveal, but I can only do so much. After that, we get the first reveal for Kirby Star Allies, although it doesn't have its title yet. It just says Kirby and has a 2018 release date. That's gonna be a pattern for this presentation. Pokemon got a brief moment. They showed Pokken Tournament DX and said that mainline Pokemon is coming to Switch, and that's all. People were really wondering, like, what, like, would Poke, like, cause now that the handheld, which is where Pokemon had always been, is fused with the consoles, what's gonna happen to Pokemon? So honestly, having him just come on screen and be like, hey, it's happening, don't worry guys, that's probably all he needed to say. Oh, and then we got a casual, like, no big deal reveal of Metroid Prime 4. This is really hard for me to rank on an objective level. This was so hype. Now we know where this reveal led. As of now, the game's still not out. I mean, we now live in a world where we have a trailer, so we're better than we were. Yeah, it's hard now to look at this logo reveal and know the like years of waiting that came after that and really put it as a boon in this presentation's favor. I mean, obviously a lot of things happen behind the scenes that, you know, was not the intended direction of the game. Obviously, like, this was a huge moment for the presentation, so I'm not gonna knock it too much, but you know. And then we get Yoshi's Crafted World. This is a weird trailer. I mean, great game. I love this game, but once again, it's just Yoshi. Like, they just were not committing to any titles at this time. Also, they showcased the like flipping stage mechanic, which it didn't manifest in the final game. So looking at this trailer is really, really odd. We got a proper Fire Emblem reveal, and it was Fire Emblem Warriors. I can't imagine that that's the game that they wanted to see, like, first on Nintendo Switch. They probably wanted a proper Fire Emblem. It turned the Warriors games from a, like, one-off rando with Hyrule Warriors to now it's like a mini sub-franchise in itself, and you might be able to expect more of them. Breath of the Wild DLC packs. They went into detail about the Trial of the Sword, new armors from classic games, and they announced a second DLC pack as well, which I guess at this point we only knew about one of them. We also got amiibo of all of the champions from the game. Can you remember a time when we were just getting amiibos like just up the wazoo, like we couldn't stop them? They announced invitational tournaments for Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Pokken. So they were like really like big on tournaments at this time, which is that's cool. Brief trailer for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which if I remember right was revealed like a day prior in the Ubisoft presentation. So hey, if anyone hadn't heard about that or was just like, you know, tunnel visioned on Nintendo only, like it's good that they got to see that this game does exist because it's really good. And then we ended on a new Mario Odyssey trailer. This is the one that opens on the Tyrannosaurus Rex that leaves us going like, what game is this? And then little Cappy shows up on top and we're like, it's Mario. This also has Jump Up Superstar, which is just a huge part of this game's identity. And then they also reveal Cappy's capture function. So This was a big trailer. I think this trailer and the initial reveal like go together like peanut butter and jelly. It's like you get your initial teaser that gets you excited, and then you get that second trailer that has the real meat, and you're like, oh, now I'm ready. So we had some really great reveals. Loses points for a lot of vague reveals. Like a good 3 or 4 major reveals didn't have any details and was just either like, we're working on something, or here's a game. It's got no title, and some of these things might not make it to the final product. But, you know, it must have been really hard to manifest a ton of hype, because it's just a bunch of games that, like, are being talked about, but you don't know anything about them. So, like, how excited could you get? I guess all of that was drowned under Metroid Prime 4 hype, which was great at the time. But like I said, hindsight doesn't really work in its favor. So yeah, this was better than the last Direct, but I don't know how it's gonna rank in the like grand, like when we get to the end. It's really hitting me now just how long I'm gonna be in this chair yapping. September 13th, 2027. What? 2017. This is the final 2017 presentation. We open on a short update trailer for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They talk about Dusk Lycanroc and like the new Ultra Beasts that were like made just for this game. Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga remake. I know like our thoughts on Bowser's Inside Story and like the fate of Alpha Dream and everything like that is complicated. But I think most people agree that the Superstar Saga remake is pretty good, all things considered. I mean, I like it. Kirby Battle Royale got like its proper reveal. They talked about a copy ability poll. Were you guys able to vote on like what copy abilities got to be characters in this game? That's really cool. Professor Layton Mystery Journey is what I wrote. I hope that doesn't sound like the full title, but maybe it is. That's the 7th game in the franchise. I don't know much of Layton, but it's really cool, you know, just how many games exist in that franchise. Minecraft for the new 3DS, emphasis on new, only worked on the new 3DS. I don't know that many people that played Minecraft on 3DS like as their primary, but I imagine for a lot of kids this was a really big deal. Mario Party, the top 100. Cool reveal. Shame about the game though. Talk about Samus Returns, because at the time of this presentation it was only 2 days away. They hinted at Ridley, which is kind of why would they do that? We got a ton of like large Atlas games next. Nothing that like it's a little outside my purview. And we got that orange 2DS XL, which is like the only 2DS XL color that I ever see. All right, Switch headlines. We open on Xenoblade 2 again. This time we get a much longer and in-depth detail trailer about the story and characters and world. I like that one line of "I'm his landlord." It was real long though. I can't deny. We got some Splatoon 2 map reveals. Kelp Dome. We got some Fire Emblem Warriors news. Lyn as a new character. That must have been exciting. And amiibos. We got Snipper Clips Plus, which is, you know, lovely little game. They showed off some Nintendo cars in Rocket League and the Master Sword in Skyrim. They showed Doom 2016 and Wolfenstein 2, or not. They just kind of showed a picture of them. Those are games that like you'd never see like in like the Wii U era coming to like the Nintendo platform. So like anyone who at this time was like still in that stage of like, oh, Nintendo doesn't have the mature games on them, like that probably stuck it to them a little bit. Okay, what is this game? Out of all of the games that I'm gonna cover today, this is the one that's like the most, where did this come from? It's called Morphe's Law. It's like an arena shooter where you shoot people and the parts of the body that you shoot get bigger, and whoever ends up the biggest wins? What? We got an Octopath Traveler trailer going into some of the characters. That's the first mention that I ever saw of the proper HD 2D moniker. They did some details about the story and gameplay. and reveal the demo. They showed Dragon Quest Builders, which looks like so much fun. I desperately wanted to play this game. Star Allies got some more information. Resident Evil Revelations. Revelations was a 3DS game, right? Is that the first time that a 3DS game came to Switch? I mean, that's really cool. And LA Noire, of all things. Has anyone played LA Noire on Switch? How is it? Like, how does it run? I've never played LA Noire. Finally, we end on another Mario Odyssey presentation, or like a recap and some new information that like we hadn't seen before. They showed off a few of the kingdoms and power moons, the Odyssey, like the actual ship that you're flying around in. Costumes. I think that was the big one for this trailer. Costumes. This is where that famous image of Mario shirtless comes from. And Wedding Mario amiibo, and that's where this presentation ended. I think this is really like pretty good. What we're starting to see here, which is really important, is a big wide net of games talked about, which I think is one of Nintendo's biggest successes and improvements over the Wii U era. And Wii U, we'd get like 3 games a year, and like a direct would just be talking about those 3 games with like a bunch of Nintendo staff skits in between. I love them. But here we have a bunch of games. We get Nintendo games, we get third-party support games. Nothing here I think is, you know, jaw-dropping. So I don't think it's going to rank it immensely high, but I don't think that this was a very bad presentation at all. And I think it showcases a lot of what's to come in the future. Okay, I can't dwell. We got to move forward. We're in 2018, March 8th. This is the first Direct with what I guess you could call the familiar Direct format, with like the transitions and everything like that, like what you recognize as a Direct. They had kind of a different style in the last few, but here, like, this is the one that kind of sticks. We didn't have as many 3DS headlines, but I loved every single one of them. We started on WarioWare Gold. We got Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, very underrated. Got the Bowser's Inside Story remake, controversial, but like still, you know, a cool release. Detective Pikachu, finally. I think this, like we had been wondering the state of this game for so long, but like here it finally was, with the giant Pikachu amiibo. And Luigi's Mansion, which was also a little controversial because most people were like, why isn't this on Switch? Which, like, I do get, I understand that, but like, I still think that, you know, it's a cool release, you know, for the end of the 3DS's life. None of these games had to exist at all, but like the fact that they were supporting it this strongly this late into the game, I think is really cool. But on to Switch. Kirby Star Allies gets some more showcase with the Dream Friends, and showing a lot of like the new characters you'd be able to get to play as. This was so cool, like seeing all these legacy characters with these full movesets. Like they look like basically Smash levels of love and care and quality put into their movesets. So like, that's delightful. Okami, so good. I'm so happy that this game is on Switch. I think it's like $20. So if you've not played Okami, that is a steal, and you should absolutely give it a go. Sushi Striker. I don't know much about this game. Have any of you played it? Let me know how it is. Octopath Traveler gets another trailer. I think this is the trailer that like confirmed the name Octopath Traveler. It's here to stay. They showed 2 new characters. They went into detail about the job system. Travis Strikes Again came back with its full proper reveal after not being seen since the initial reveal presentation. Dark Souls remastered on Switch. That's pretty crazy. And it had an amiibo, which is even crazier. And they had a quick discussion regarding Nintendo Gold points and like what you can use those points on. I don't know. Do you use your points for stuff? I don't know. The big mid-presentation spotlight was on revealing Mario Tennis Aces. Ultra Smash made the reception of Mario Tennis really low. So because of that, I think there was more hype for Tennis Aces than you'd think there would be, like on the surface. Like they mentioned a story mode. They went into a lot of detail about the mechanics. And I think just like the amount of care there appeared to be got a lot of people looking forward to this, especially as like the first Mario sports game for the system at all. They brought Captain Toad Treasure Tracker to Switch, which is really good. We're gonna start seeing a lot of those Wii U to Switch, you know, jumps that a lot of people like get upset about, but I think every single one of them benefited the game like as a whole, because Captain Toad is great and it shouldn't just be locked to the Wii U. Like, more people deserve to enjoy that release. And also got a 3DS version, which, like, neat. Undertale. Talk about a really big deal. It feels very far away today, but like, Undertale was such a big deal, and the fact that it came to Switch was honestly quite mind-blowing, I believe. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. You want to talk about mind-blowing? Like, seeing Crash on Switch must have, like, just broken the minds of so many people from older console generations. Little Nightmares, which is a really cool release. I think it also got a new costume from the Pac-Man amiibo. That's just adorable. South Park Fractured Butthole, which I think more than anything showcases just how much Nintendo had grown from their previous vibe. Like, there's no earthly way that they would include South Park in their like primary presentation, like for like kids to see. Like, not that they showed anything too terrible, but like the fact that it's there at all showcases more about their marketing being for an everybody, you know, demographic, rather than like a very specifically for a younger demographic. Like, you don't get more mature than a South Park game. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition gets its release date trailer. This is really cool. The 3DS added so much content to Hyrule Warriors. I only played the original on Wii U, and I've been wanting to play the Switch one for ages. I'm just intimidated by the wealth of content that's in there. ARMS and Splatoon 2 both got update features, which is really cool. Like, they supported ARMS for a lot longer than you might realize, just given that it's gone now. But like, they really were pumping a lot of energy into it. So like, you know, good for them. Oh, but then, Octo expansion. This is one of my favorite reveals ever. I love when Nintendo gets weird. I love when it gets dark and strange and you're just not sure what is happening. And this Octo expansion trailer is so weird and twisted. I love it to bits. And they were so ingenious too, right? Because we're talking about Splatoon, and then we have this big reveal for Octo expansion. That's our big reveal, right? Like, that's our big ender. Like, that makes total sense. And then they're like, we have one more thing, and they're showing Splatoon 1, like Splatoon 1 inklings running around, like mimicking the first ever trailer. And you're like, what are they putting Splatoon 1 on 3DS? Like, what's going on here? Smash. Sure, it's a logo trailer, but man, like, it brings chills to this day. I love how much even this little bit got people theorizing. Like, the fact that we got to see Link silhouette, and it's the Breath of the Wild Link rather than the Smash Link that, like, we'd gotten to know. The floodgates were opened. Like, after this, it was years of speculation and theorizing and absolutely insane takes. Smash was here. Yeah, this direct was really, really good. I like this a lot. I pretty much ended up playing just about every single game that they listed here. So like that says a lot. Octo expansion and the Smash teaser are both things that I will go back to every so often, and like they still hit me just as hard as they did when they were brand new. Lots of great 3DS titles too. Like, even that wasn't left behind. Like, the only bad knocks I could possibly give are like, maybe you're not into Mario Tennis, and like maybe you're upset that Luigi's Mansion isn't on Switch rather than 3DS, but like, I think this is a shockingly strong direct for as early into the Switch's life as it was. What's next? What's next? E3 2018. This is a very controversial Daemon Ex Machina. This game looks really good, you guys. Like, hello? I remember this game, and I remember seeing so many trailers for this game and going like, yeah, you know, whatever. Like, does it secretly suck? Like, please let me know. Xenoblade 2 gets its giant Torna expansion. I don't know much about what that is, but I know that that got a physical release and it's really like hard to get your hands on now. Someone told me that the expansion is like half the size of a regular Xenoblade game, and half of a regular Xenoblade game is probably bigger than any game that I play like on the regular. So like, man, if you like content, play Xenoblade. Got more details on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which I imagine were announced at a previous Pokemon Presents. They showed the Pokeball Plus. I've got not too kind things to say about that controller, but like, it's a nice little fun peripheral. You get a Mew from it. That's fun. Super Mario Party gets a reveal, which is supremely cool. Like, great to see Mario Party back. Mario Party was in a bad state after like 9 and 10 and top 100. So this is very much a return to form, even though I think people now look back on it not as fondly because Superstars is just a lot better in a lot of people's eyes. But I still really enjoy Super. Remember that like crazy feature where you could lay down multiple switches and like they'd like connect with each other and make like one giant jumbled screen? Like that, what a crazy little thing that the Switch could do. I wish that we got to see even just a single game do more of that. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Maybe you ain't into Fire Emblem. I've played a number of Fire Emblems. I'm not like an aficionado on the franchise, but I've played quite a few. I think I can say without hyperbole that this is like the biggest, best game like in the franchise. Like, I'd say it's the biggest Fire Emblem since Awakening, which is the game that like, you know, saved the franchise like as a whole. If you've never played Fire Emblem, like this, I really do genuinely feel like this should be your starting point. Fortnite. I don't know about Fortnite, but like, you know, if this was the reveal and this wasn't on Switch like before this is huge. This is really, really, really big. So like, yeah, this is just like Minecraft. Like, this is just one of those things that's like, it's big because it has to be on every platform, and like for it not to be, it would be insane. So like, good for them for getting on that. Overcooked 2. Great. That's a lovely, fantastic, fun little party game. It's like, heck yeah. Hollow Knight got a shadow drop, which is really cool. And then they did a little bit more talking on Octopath Traveler's demo. Then came Sakurai in what I think is one of the best Smash trailers in all of history. The Everyone Is Here trailer is magnificent. It's paced so ingeniously. Like, the fact that they start showing a few, like they're like, okay, let's go over some of the past characters that, you know, you expect to be here. You get your Mario, you get your Link, you get your Pikachu, and you're like, yeah, okay, sure. They start showing a couple more characters, like more than you'd expect. Like there's, oh, we're showing Falco already. We're showing Wii Fit Trainer, really? They're back? And then they're like, oh, Ice Climbers, hey, like, awesome. Like, we totally thought that, you know, they should have been in the last game. Great to see that they're here. What? Pokemon Trainer? What? Like, they're back? What? And then they like hit you smack in the face with Snake, and you're like, oh my god, it's everybody. Sakurai goes through each individual character and talks about some of the changes that they've made. Everyone got so much love and care, which is so cool to see. The entire game just felt like zippier from what they showed. Like, they showed a lot of the new Final Smashes, and there seemed to be a big emphasis on making the game snappier, which, like, any doubt that this was like, oh, it's just Smash 4 plus, any of that went down the drain after this presentation. This is where the Echo Fighter name was coined, and they revealed Daisy as like the first Echo Fighter, which got a lot of people excited. They showed stages. They revealed the GameCube controller functionality, which is huge. Assist trophies. Yep, it's him. And then, oh my god, here's the thing, right? Like, today, I bet this doesn't feel like a big deal. It's so far, it happened so long ago now, and I don't even think this character is relevant in any competitive capacity. But like, Ridley, this blew our mind. I literally think, other than maybe Cloud in the previous game, nothing like quite like shocked us to our core like this reveal did. And then they hit us with the release date, which is going to be December of that year. Despite all that praise I just gave, though, this is a hard presentation to talk about. A lot of people were really critical about this presentation because despite how cool Smash is, and despite, you know, how big and historical those reveals were, it was like half of the presentation. And if anyone was looking for anything else, they didn't get much. They got Mario Party and Fire Emblem, and like that was it. So while this E3 presentation is really heavily carried by great Smash moments, even I have to admit that I do have a preference for variety. The final 2018 presentation, September 13th. We open on Luigi's Mansion 3. This is huge. I think some people were a little privy to this existing because of the plunger that was shown in the Simon Belmont Smash reveal that showed Luigi with like the new Poltergust. But like just to see it is really, really cool. Luigi's Mansion is such a young franchise, and like if it wasn't for Dark Moon, it wouldn't be a franchise at all. It would just be this one weird one-off title. So like the fact that they did, like, you know, it's still going strong, and 3 is so good. We have a 3DS headline segment. It's noticeably smaller now. Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, one of the final titles that are new in these presentations. We get additional trailers for both Bowser's Inside Story and the Luigi's Mansion remake. They showed 2-player. Has anyone ever played Luigi's Mansion 3DS like entirely in co-op? That sounds so fun. I want to try that someday. Then Yokai Watch Blasters, but then after that it was like already over and moving on straight to Switch. We get another Splatoon 2 update trailer, Mega Man 11, which is so cool. It's a shame that we didn't get like 12 or anything like that in hindsight, but this was really exciting as it was coming out. Mario Tennis Aces got some new characters. Birdo, which like, I'm a Birdo guy, so like that's hyper important to get in there. Shy Guy, Paratroopa, and PD Piranha, which is also really, really cool. We get the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. I love how much effort Capcom has been putting into their collection packs recently. It's been really cool to see. We get the reveal of new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I think everyone's got the same kind of middling feelings about new Super Mario Brothers as a whole, but like, they are still extremely high quality 2D platformer games, extremely high selling, and as someone who used to like, you know, sell video games, like they are perfect for first time gamers, and you got to start somewhere. They did reveal Peachette here though. And they revealed Katamari Damacy, which is a really fun game to have on Switch. Okay, now though was the Nintendo Switch Online like full breakdown presentation. Like what? Like it's here now, we're introducing it. They did a big animated presentation with all the Mario characters, which was super duper cute. They talked about the NES service. That's all that existed like on launch, just like a number of NES games. Talked about the smartphone app. They talked about cloud saves, although there would be no cloud saves for Splatoon, which I know is a really big problem. They revealed the $20 price tag, which was really cheap, compared to the competitors, but like this still had a number of problems. And since everyone had been not paying for online that whole time, it definitely felt like people were getting a price tag suddenly on a thing that they had just had this whole time. And their online had never been that great anyway, so this was unfortunately a bit of a messy situation. Okay, after that, a bunch of rapid fire headlines. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee got some more info. Diablo 3 got revealed. Second Super Mario Party trailer. Little Town Hero, which is a fascinating little piece of history. Daemon X Machina got another trailer. Yoshi's Crafted World got a proper trailer. Civilization 6. Starlink Battle for Atlas showcased Wolf, which is really fun. The World Ends With You final remix. Very, very cool. Warframe on Switch, which is really impressive. And then so much Final Fantasy. Oh my gosh, we got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remaster. We got Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which looks really funny. Chocobo's Dungeon, like a bunch of Chocobo related stuff. They showed Final Fantasy 12 Remastered, and they talked about how they're going to be porting Final Fantasy 7, 9, and 10 plus 10 too. They just skipped 8 for whatever reason. And then Isabelle. We have this long drawn out trailer that's sort of meant to like puzzle you and think, is this going to be an Animal Crossing reveal or is this going to be a Smash reveal? And it turned out to be the latter. Like, bam, like here's Isabelle. Isabelle is in Smash, only for Tom Nook to show up at the very end and say, hey, just kidding, it is also a Animal Crossing reveal, technically. That's pretty good. I feel like I'm going to say that for almost all of the presentations. I think they're all pretty solid. There's like hardly a bad one across the entire legacy of Switch. I think the only messy part here is the fact that NSO had such a straight, like, questionable launch that had a lot of people scratching their heads. But like, a lot of cool games here. Not a bad way to end the year. And that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed part 1 to this 3-part series. As you can imagine, there's a ton of directs to cover, and I wanted to give each one the review time they deserve. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.